Hey guys, so now I was going to talk to you a little bit about age. And for some of you, this may or may not be an issue. Maybe you are, in your teens and you're thinking about starting programming. And if you are a teenager and you're thinking about programming, I highly encourage you to do so. I can tell you right now that if you know programming and you have a few good ideas that you would like to try out and see if you can make some money, I can tell you that this is a more fun. It's a funner, fun, I guess, summer job. As summer jobs goes, this is probably the best summer job you could possibly want. Trust me, if you know how to code and you are like you're not even old enough to vote yet, you will have a really bright future. I highly encourage you as a teenager to start like as soon as possible. Start learning JavaScript or whatever programming language that you are passionate about, because if you can get on your CV that you started coding, it doesn't have to be big things at even before most people realize what they want to do with their life. That will stand out a lot. Trust me, it will go a lot further than you could possibly imagine. And as a bonus, you will also make people like myself who realize that they wanted to code at age 26 feel really crappy about themselves, because, yeah. Everybody wishes that they started doing what they love earlier when they find it. That's at least my theory. And if you're on the other side of the spectrum and you're one of those people who maybe you're old, like maybe you're in your 30s or your 40s or so forth, and you want to have a change of pace, if you will, I can tell you firsthand that I realized that I wanted to start programming when I was 26. And I'm like, that's a few years ago now. So, and also I would like to share a bit of a story actually. When I started at my first job, one of the interns who started there he was roughly 40 or 42, something like that, I think. And he had been working in the marketing industry for most of his career, indeed all of his adult life. And he just woke up one day and he kind of felt that, no, I want to try something different. So he took a sabbatical, took some leave from work, and educated himself and became a programmer. And I mean, he got hired as a programmer at age 42. So don't think that age is much of an issue. It kind of depends. Like, I would say that the only time your age is going to be the issue in general is if you, and we unfortunately live in a world like that, especially here in Sweden. The age prejudice really only starts to become relevant when you're on the wrong side of 50. I'm not saying that you can't get hired, I'm saying that it gets much more difficult at that age, and that has nothing to do with you being skilled or like what you can do. It has more to do with this I don't know what to call it actually, where employers basically start freaking out over, not being able to get as much value from their employees and all these other, I mean, my absolute favorite, well, one of the colleagues I had at Ticketmaster, who is probably the most inspiring individual that I've ever worked with. I've learned so much from him, and I can tell you firsthand that he was probably one of the biggest reasons why that system even is around today. He is in his 50s, and he has all this amazing he's a great teacher. He takes initiative. He's a great maintainer. He has this type of seniority that most people only can dream about. I mean, it's he is amazing. And if you're watching this, Mark, I do think that you are amazing. And I know that you're probably sitting there chuckling and probably think that I'm pretty silly. But all those times I came up to you every morning and said hi and sat down and asked you about your day and wanted to know what you were doing, that was genuinely because I think that you are amazing at what you do, and I learned so much from working with you. So big shout out to you. And apart from kind of drifting off topic here, the age thing, it doesn't actually factor in all that much. Trust me, it doesn't, because like honestly, the demand for skilled programmers is massive, and frankly, there are, like, if you come in as a junior developer, odds are that, you, as long as you can provide the value, for the most part, the companies are just happy to have you provide the solutions. I mean, if you are very, very young and you have a lot of talent, most likely what's going to happen is that you're going to be put in a situation where you provide code and you like do all that stuff, but your work experience, if you will, is fairly limited, and the company will account for that. And if the older you get, that becomes less and less of an issue. Honestly, from my experience, what usually matters, if we just cut away, we completely cut away the whole discussion about, okay, can you code? We just assume, for the sake of argument, that you're really good at coding. Then the only thing that really matters is how well do you fit into the team? Like, are you the type of person who the team is going to adopt into? Like, I mean, do you fit in? That's basically it. Trust me, that's it. And you can fit in whether you're 13 or whether you're 45 or 50. Like, it's that age thing, it doesn't matter. It does feel that way. I can only speak for myself, but I used to think that it mattered a lot. I actually thought, trust me, swear to God, I actually thought that I would have a hard time finding employment as a junior developer at age 28. Swear to God, I was scared shitless that I wouldn't be able to find somewhere to work because I was too old. That's how silly I am. And trust me, it was not a problem. And today, like, it's still not a problem. Actually, what's very flattering for me is that I'd like to think that I made up for what I call the lost years, when I was doing things that I didn't really know what I wanted to do, by simply showing enthusiasm and being really passionate about what I do. And a lot of the stuff that I know today kind of weighs that up. I mean, I'm not the best coder in the world, but you can make up for that. That's kind of what I'm trying to say to you. Like, you can make up for that lost time. And I remember in school, I was talking to this guy who had been working, he an extremely good programmer. He's been a coder for roughly 7 years. And I had just started out, and I remember us having a little bit of a disagreement. And basically what happened was that he said to me, like, well, yeah, I have 7 years of experience. You're never gonna be able to, like, I'm always gonna be better than you. And I answered by simply saying, well, the thing is with experience and talent and so forth, that when you start out, it's actually like progressing up through building a pyramid. When you first start out, the amount of distance you're going to cover, like the foundation is always the biggest. Like, the more you learn more, like, you make bigger and bigger improvements. But the better, like, with the years and with experience, the like, everything kind of narrows off, and it takes more and more work for you to be able to progress through your career, or through anything for that matter, because it takes more and more time to, like, become like even better at what you do. And so I said, I will never be able to get back those 7 years that you have ahead of me, but I will be able to to surpass you, because the amount of years you've been doing something has no relevance whatsoever. What matters is what you do with the time you have.